Hello. Oh wait, my camera looks really dark. I do this every time. Every time. I'm like, oh, it's just not right. Damn it. I spent the last hours trying to make this look right. What are you gonna do? All of a sudden it's too dark. That'll do. It's fine. We don't care. We don't care. It's fine. I'll leave it. I think it's because it's raining. It's raining. That's why. Okay, this here was not that visible. It was that like sunny out there. Like not sunny, but it was white sky. That this was all like really, really like affecting the camera. You know, like it usually does. And now it's raining, so the camera looks different. We'll leave it. If I turn very, very, very pale, like, where are you pale? But if I turn very, very pale, I'll have to change the camera. But it's grey out there now. That's not very good. I didn't think it'd do that. I didn't plan ahead. Hopefully we are not heading towards any kind of bad weather though. Because that won't be fun. Let me look. Double check before we really get into the stream. Hopefully not. Hopefully we're fine. So far it looks okay. I think we're fine. I didn't realize it was gonna rain. Oh, it's gonna rain till 8 p.m. And it's gonna rain tomorrow. Oh, it's gonna rain tomorrow morning, but that's fine. I wasn't even gonna be in the house tomorrow and it's gonna rain. I don't mind it raining when I'm in the house. I like rain. I like rain when I'm not in it. I like it for the atmosphere. Not when. Not when it's literally like chucking it down when I'm outside. Let me thinking like, what's the temperature gonna be? If it's warm and it's raining, that just irritates me. Like why? Oh, it's gonna be like okay temperature too. That just bugs me. Like, oh well, I'll just have to like put my hair up, deal with it, deal with it. It's fine. Still a little bit annoying though. What was I gonna say? I had something in my mind. I was gonna say, oh, my follower goal. I have to update this every single stream now. I don't know if I should make it a bigger goal or what. I ended stream yesterday with like 2 or 3 off my goal, and then I came back onto stream today and it's done. So I had to update it again. I don't think I've ever updated my stream, my follower goal like this frequent. So the last like 2 or 3 weeks of like consistent streams, this is like ridiculous. It's just like every time I end stream, it's like done every time. So I guess we'll see what happens today. Yeah, I got an email this morning that made me actually a little bit worried. I was a bit like, oh, that doesn't look like a legit email. But I got it was a legit email. I didn't get a scam. It wasn't a scam email or anything. It looked like one. And I was kind of concerned. I was like, oh, I don't know what this is. And 2 seconds later, I get another email relating to the past email. And it was just like alpha access to a game that I am backed on. What's it called? I always forget what it's called. Kickstarter. Yeah, that. But I was just really confused. It was like such a blank email, and I was like, and then I went on their Discord, and someone was like, hey, was this a scam email? I feel terrible. They wanted to do alpha access on Steam, but then Steam were like, yeah, you gotta wait like 3 days for us to approve of it. Now they have to run it on like something else. And I was like, it looks like a scam. It's literally such a blank email. And then the follow-up email was like, don't worry, it's a real email. I'm like, I was about to delete the email that gave me access to something. Like, I want to play the game. Don't do that to me. I got worried. But luckily it's a wait, is this my right account? That confused me. Thinking I posted that on the wrong Twitter. I don't think I'm ever gonna call it. I don't think I'm ever gonna call it X. I don't like it. Okay. Hey Les, how's your day doing? Same. Yeah, why would I call it X? Hey, I just posted a post on X. I just tweeted. It sounds so much better. It makes so much more sense. We don't have anything to worry about by the seams of it. I've seen a couple people saying they can't get on the game, but I think it's their PC. I don't think it's the game, so I think we're chilling. But we are looking out for lightning because I had my camera set up and it was very bright outside. Now it's raining and it's very grey. So I had to change the camera, but now I'm a little bit worried about lightning happening. And I don't have my PC turned on when it's lightning outside. I unplug it. So we're trying to ignore it. We're going to manifest it. It doesn't happen. It will not turn to that. It's fine. Tired, woke up early to game with my buddy from China. Ooh, what did you play? Hopefully you had fun. Worth it though, right? Worth it? Hopefully it was worth it. It's okay to be tired if you're making memories, right? I don't think I was really, really bad this morning. I'm tired, but I think I'm okay now. We still going? What are you playing? What are you playing? Ranch Simulator? See, that's just so fun though. Like, why wouldn't you wake up early for that? I really do. I've only ever played like one real like simulator game, and it was the like taxi one. I played it for like 2 weeks straight and then never played it again. But I love like the look of like the power wash one. That looks good. I've just never played them. I've watched like a good amount of like content to do with them. I just never played them. I'm weird like that. I grew up doing that actually. Now that I think about it, I think that is really odd. When I was younger, I used to watch a lot of gaming YouTubers. I never played the games that they would play. Like I didn't even have like anything to play on. So it was just like I was living through them, I think. I think that's what I did. Until now. Now I do it the other way around. Okay, I'm actually getting hot now. What is going on with the weather? Also, my radiator is broken, so that's not good. So I'm gonna have to probably, hopefully not, but I might have to cancel a stream next week. Great timing. They're gonna have to come like I think next Friday. But if it's like in the UK, like the temperature is like either freezing cold or like boiling hot, right? In the summer it gets really hot, but we have days where it's freezing cold all of a sudden. That radiator, it's not. No, it's too hot. It won't turn down. So I have even no radiator, no heat in my room, except for the PC. The PC is basically its own heater, so it's, I could just use that. I'll just open New World and my PC will be like really hot. That works every time. That's why I play it a lot in the winter, actually. It keeps my room warm. But then, like, it's either I have no heating in this room or too much. So I gotta wrap up if it gets cold, but I think it's getting cold. I think it's just raining. I think we're fine. Why am I on my calendar? I meant to go my weather app. Yeah, the temperature's fine. Temperature's fine. We have rain at the same time. So that's funny. Today I am gonna try to be productive. I haven't done any of the relics since last week, and so I think we need to get onto them again. And that includes fishing, which I'm not happy about, but we're gonna do it because I need to get on with them. And then we might get waylaid and start doing plushies again, but we'll see. Let me get the game up. There we go. Let the stream adjust before I move. There we go. We need to actually go through all of this because I just keep saving things. And I think I've realized I'm just doing it. There's no intent for it at all. I'm just like randomly doing it. So I have 4 of these. We have no starred actually. Have I not gotten a single starred whipback scale? Does it not exist? Odd. Oh, we don't even need scales, right? Like they're not a thing. We don't need them for anything, I don't think. I'll keep 2. I'll keep 2 in case. I also kept a stack of the skin because I'm a little bit like, I don't know what we can even use it for. But I feel like it wouldn't be in the game if I didn't need it. I'm a little bit cautious of just like getting rid of it. And the meat as well. That's an annoying one. I feel like I don't want to get rid of it because I don't want to need it and then regret every decision I've ever made, you know? Paleo like doing that. They like being like, yeah, you don't need it. We're not going to tell you what you need it for, but then when you need it, you're going to need all of it. Like, what was it? The shells? That was so funny. There was like this big problem with people not realizing, you know, like, oh, shells are useless. We don't need them. And then the mermaid stuff came out and no one had shells. That was funny. Oh, never mind. We cannot. Oh, I'll just sell them. I'll just sell them. I don't mind. We're gonna need weeds. I keep saying that. I keep saying it, but we didn't need shells, and now we do. If you want to build the furniture, like... So it's kind of like... What do we do? Oh, don't water the tree. Oh my god. But like, the weeds are just like the most useless thing I think I've ever heard of in the game. Like, shells, I could understand. They've got to be like, something. But like, do I need this? What do I do with it? There's no point even selling it. Like, it doesn't even give me anything. I feel like it should work to make like fertilizer or something. I feel like that would make sense. So far, absolutely nothing. Then again, the next couple of updates seem to be quite big. I don't know if they would be useful for the animals. Oh, I don't need any more ogre poo meat. But thank you. But yeah, I feel like maybe the animals, would they be useful? I don't know. And like, if it is useful and I just haven't done anything with them, I'm gonna be kind of a bit annoyed that I didn't keep them. I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed. Like, imagine all of a sudden we need like 60 of them for one recipe and I'm just like, oh, I have none. Fabulous. Okay, we water my plants that still have not grown because I'm still neglecting them and water them once a stream, which is a couple times a week. We don't need money, but maybe I should go buy... What can I go buy? Can I go buy a couple of things? Maybe. Maybe from the town hall. Why am I going this way? Why didn't I just go to the stable? I'm never gonna get used to this. Nothing will ever make me get used to having a sign in my house. I'm just gonna keep going through the gate every time. Oh well, we walk. We walk. All good. I forget a lot too. It's really annoying because on the first day I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, I'm gonna forget. It's been like 3 weeks, right? 2, 3 weeks? And I'm still forgetting. Because I got the sign on the first day, technically. I got the like schematic for it, but I didn't get the actual sign until like the second day or something. But like, I've had it the entire time. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna run. I have money, I can pay for it. Like, go. Yeah, let's go spend money. I don't have money to store things because I don't think I have much space, but I do have money to buy things I don't particularly need right now. Maybe we buy another gazebo? I like the gazebo and the conservatories. I think they're really cute. I don't need these. Do I buy them anyway? Like, I've got the money. I feel like I should just buy them. I don't think I'll ever use them. Maybe the stone ones. Maybe I'll buy these ones. Why not? I might use them. I don't like the gold ones. Or the copper. I'm not a fan. Not really a fan. Maybe the iron ones. I'm just trying to like get rid of some money because I have too much. Maybe I should wait, maybe I should go buy some Zeki balls or something. Coins, not Zeki balls. Oh my god, Zeki coins. Instead of buying stuff I don't actually need, I might actually get something from them. How much do they cost though? Is it 10,000? Can I even buy them when it's not... Wait, I can't buy them until, yeah, I can't buy them yet, can I? I just realized. Nah, yeah. Yeah, I just realized. That, okay, I'll buy something else. Because that only took like, what, 15k? Like, that's not... I'll buy another gazebo. And okay, we'll do that because then at least I have a little bit of leeway and I can make a little bit of money, right? Because when you're doing your skills, like it kind of annoys me when I'm like hunting and I've got like 5k worth of stuff in my bag and I can't sell it because there's no point in selling it. But if I do sell it, it's just a waste. But now I just have like all these blueprints. You can't even see them. But like I have like 3 to 6 of everything. I have 4 gazebos. I don't know why. Maybe we should build some, right? Like put them down and build them, like so that I have them when I want them. That could work. Do that. See if I have the materials. Why not? Maybe use my materials. Maybe actually do something. Sapwood. Yeah, there we go. Well, let's do this. Because then at least I'm actually using the stuff I have. Because like right now, I'm not doing anything with it. Like I have too much stuff. You didn't keep a throwaway plot just to build them and keep them there. Yeah, but I could pick them up. Like I could just build them and pick them up, right? I could do that, right? I think I can. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Like you can just like build them and pick them back up again. Wait, did I not do that one? The brick stone. What do you mean? Yeah, after they're built, yeah. See, I might as well do that though, because I have so much. I have far too much. Oh wait, what's this? Is this the white slab one? Do I have... Not the stone one. Okay. Well, we'll work on that. We'll work on that. How much storage do I have now? See, we made a little bit of storage with that. It was worth it. And now I'm going to go back and forth between Elderwood and my plot. And try and see what I need to do. Because I think... Am I on the 3rd bag? I think I'm on the 3rd bag. But I want to get onto the other ones too because they seem really cool. And right now I've literally just gotten the 3rd upgrade and that's it. I haven't done anything else. So I almost feel like I need to draw my attention to them. What did I buy? Yeah, I have the 3rd one. 4th one. I have the 4th recipe. Okay, hang on. I don't want to go over there. It's kind of loud. I hate the tables up there. They're really loud and annoying. Oh, we need the mermaid. I think that's the only thing I need. Okay, we're gonna have to go check. I'm pretty sure it works even if you don't have it in your bag. I think. Oh. My pet. I took the pet off yesterday when we were hunting. Where's she gone? Wait. Am I blind? Where'd she go? There she is. There she is. Okay. So I need this. Where do I get this from? Let's check. Check the wiki. I love that we can go on the Wikipedia now. It makes me really happy. It's all updated and stuff. Nothing makes me happier. Okay. The mermaid. How do I find you? Please be an all day one. All day, glowworms, fresh water. Okay. We can do that. That's the only thing I need, right? Yeah. Okay, we can go do that. Now we have to go find where. Oh, wait, we could do it here. Eh. Yeah, I don't really want to do that. It's really loud. Let's go to that little pond. I think that counts. I feel like, I can't do it right there. I have to go around the back. I like doing it at the grove. Ooh. I don't know. I was going to try watch people hunt. True. There's a good point, actually. Maybe. Maybe. That might be a good call. Not feel so, like, on my own. Watch them have to fight the ogre poos instead of me. Okay. It says... this bit. Okay. Let's do it. Let's see if I can get this on the first try. I know that the last time we did this, I got it on the first try. 2 times, I think it was. Right? First and the second fish I needed, literally instantly got them. So I wonder if we can, because I don't think I have it yet. I think I do. Okay, it's a bigger fish, I think. It looks like a... I don't think I have it yet. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't have it in my bag though. I must have sold it. What does it look like? Oh. Oh, that's a bit of a weird looking fish. Like the mouse, yeah, it looks a bit weird though. Like, why does it look like that? It looks a bit odd. It's this one. Yeah, I don't have it yet at all. Oh, that's a bit of a weird looking fish. It kind of looks like an ogre poo, but a fish, like, made a baby. What is that? That's really odd. Is this it? Because it doesn't look as weird. No, I was gonna say, it doesn't look odd enough. Yeah, the turnpike. I think that looks like a normal fish. But this one, the mermaid one, looks odd. It literally looks like some kind of mythical creature, like. I'm gonna get a bunch of these out before I actually get what I need. Should we try doing it in the, If we have more luck, we get a starred one. See, I say this though, but the thing is, every time I do something like this and I get it first try, it never happens again. Ever. Never again. The 2 huntable, Shernock plushies haven't got anything again. 2 in a row fish I needed, never happened again. The thing is, I feel like the game owes it to me to give me what I need when I need it, because that situation at the beginning of the beta wasn't fair. The bag situation. Like, hey, everyone else has an upgraded bag, you've paid for it, but we're not gonna give it to you. That was crazy. I couldn't believe that happened. I'm still sour about it. Still not happy about it. Spent like a month or 2 in PALIA with 1 bag slot. Like 1 row. That is it. I think anyone would still be upset about that years later, right? Hopefully it's not just me. I think I'm in the right place. I don't think it has to be like anywhere particular, right? This damn fish is the most annoying thing. It's even worse than the mouse, I think. Mouse? I still don't know how to say that correctly. I'd quit. Literally, at the time I was streaming too, so like, you can imagine. We went and we bought it and I was like, hang on, what's going on? Ended stream, like, came back next day and it was still a problem. I messaged them about it. They were like, oh yeah, sorry, we're looking into this. And I was like, time frame maybe, please? I messaged them like 2 weeks later. They're like, yeah, it's still a problem that we can't figure out. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Parody of Jaws. Mouse. Yeah, so am I saying it right then? Mouse? Jaws? Oz? Mouse? Moz? Moz. Is that right? Moz? I feel like that just doesn't fit my, that doesn't fit right. I can't see. Yeah? Oh, I don't know if I like that. I like mouse better. I think I'm gonna stick to that and just, like, make people wonder what I'm going on about, because people do it all the time. I can't fish when I'm looking at someone. I always get, like, confused that I'm the one, like, reeling the fish in. I always feel like when people say PALIA instead of PALIA, I'm like, well, I could do that too. Play my own game. Say the fish names incorrectly. Not like I didn't say Hassian wrong for like a year, but you know. That was bad. I don't know why I didn't understand it either. I just saw like his name and assumed before reading it. no, friend. Oh no, now we're gonna turn around the other way. Oh, I don't. Okay, they're going. I was gonna say, I can't look at people when they're fishing. For some reason, like, I like fishing with other people. Like, I love when you're in Bahari and there's like a bunch of people in like the caves trying to fish and stuff. That used to be my thing. But I cannot for the life of me look at other people while they're fishing because I'll reel in even though I'm not the one that needs to reel. And I don't know why it happens. Oh, I hear a Dogapoo. Hi, friend. I don't think we're hunting you today. I think we're gonna give you a little bit of peace. Hopefully you appreciate that, and then maybe like on Friday you could give us like a plushie or something. Oh my god, is this it? I got it. I got it. I got it. And I was distracted. I almost didn't get it. Well, karma. Karma. Oh my god. Where do I have to go? This way. Felt easier than the mouth. Really? 5 minutes too. Oh, nice. So it's not just me. That was good then. That was good. Thank God. I don't want to be doing that for like an hour. I take this one off, right? And then... yeah, I can make it. Okay. Fully upgraded to... what is that, tier 4? Equip. And then we go by tier 5. Get started on... is this the last one? The 5th one, I think? Hopefully. And then I can move on to the other ones. And kill Shadow or goes easy. It's the last one. Oh. Then you can move... wait, I didn't mean to talk to her. Hang on. I'm trying to buy things. Wait. Oh, have I done? Oh, it is the last one. Oh, we're done though. Like, I feel like... I feel lost again. Okay, so the... which one do I do? I don't know which one to do. I have tickets. I can buy all of them. But I feel like I should buy one to control myself. The artifact tracker. Oh, wait, the amulet is a good next one. Okay, amulet. This one? All infected essence gathered when equipped. Further upgrade increase. Yeah, but... does that mean, like, you get more essence? Because I don't need it right now. I don't really need it yet. Like, I feel like... is there any point in me doing that if I don't need it yet? Or is it worth doing it for something else? You have a party of amulet. If you have a party of amulet in the bag, you can farm shadows. Good. Yeah, but the others just find them. Oh. Hang on. Track infected forage. Wait, what's the treasure though? Like, what's the difference between the amulet and the treasure tracker though? Don't they do the same? Oh no, this one finds like... what? The artifact tracker finds hidden artifacts. Does this one do the treasure chest? Because I think I've got them all. Treasure and artifact you should have already. That's forever. I haven't gotten either of them. I haven't got either of them. We started on the bag because I was fed up with the ammo, which does that mean I don't have to use the ammo anymore? I could just use regular? Cheap because it's a passive thing. Okay, well, I'll just buy them. Like, how do I... oh, can I just buy them? You don't have to make these? Hello? Hi, friend. I see you. Thanks for the look. I appreciate you. Those two are free? Why did no one tell me this? Oh, it's terrible. I didn't know that. I was like, oh, I should buy one. Like, I'll buy one. I never saw them. Same, though. Like, I didn't really realize that they were free. Like, so, like, oh, because it says schematic next to it. You should do idle then. This one. If you max it, you can see shadow ogres. Wait, what does shadow mean? We're not talking about infected, though, are we? Are we talking about, like... are we talking about infected? Oh, you call them a shadow. Okay. I did think that's what you were talking about. I was just like, hang on. I can see them? Does that mean they're invisible? Infected, yeah, okay. So, it shows you on the map. Oh! Oh! Okay. So this one then. The infected is free symbols. So if you go hunt someone's bag, you can help with that. Oh, okay. Let's do that then. Okay. Let's do this one. How many upgrades is there? Wait, what? There's a chest up there? Is that chest? What? There's 4 of them? Oh my god. Okay, this is what we're gonna do today then. We're gonna get this one done if we can. We have like 2.5 hours to do it. I think I can do it. It is? I didn't even know that was there. Where is it? Wait, is it over this way? Oh. I didn't even know that was there. Would I have found that 2 weeks ago had I just bought that? That's kind of embarrassing. That's kind of embarrassing. Not gonna lie. I definitely should have seen it already. This one shows you daily 2 piles of artifacts. Oh! So I can find them without even having to look them up. Weird. That's like really good. So I have to be like so far in it though. Like, wait, why won't my... There we go. So like if I'm like around here and there's one like out here, it'll tell me. Like, that's good. I like that. I like that. Short range, yeah. Fair enough. Wait, how do I... A gift from Elderwood that contains random local... Oh, that's from that. So how do I, like... do it? Wait, it's not there. Didn't I just buy it? Do I have to, like, take this off? Is that why? No? I could have sworn I just bought it. The game's tripping, or I'm tripping. Either way. Wait, do I have to speak? Oh! It's not the game! It's me! I'm the problem. Oh my god. I'm just checking that wasn't being covered. You seek to see the unseeable, a noble goal as long as you are not afraid of them seeing you back. I have no idea what you're talking about. What about smelling the unsmellable? I just want a cool tracker. That is as good a reason of any to delve into the unknown. This idol's eyes glow bright in the presence of bright eye infected things. The first version of the design is only attuned to forage, but you can have some ideas on how we might upgrade it. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but the Elderwood are... Elderwoods! The Elderwoods! She said woods! She didn't say Elderwood. PALIA, did you forget to edit that out? Because you did change your mind, right? You calling it the Elderwoods and you changed it to Elderwood. This is proof that that happened. But the Elderwoods are cursed with rampant bright eye activity. As long as you keep this idol by your side, you'll be able to avoid running into anything dangerous. I don't know, not dangerous, to be honest. They're kind of cute. Once you collect materials to craft it, let me know and I'll put on the final touches. Okay. Now we can go and look. Oh, it just tells me what I need. Okay, that's good. I might have that. I might have that. Go home. I think I might have them. Although, wouldn't it have told me if I had them? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see when I get there. We'll see. If it doesn't tell me, then that's annoying. I kind of feel like we can do the relic upgrades and stuff without having to go back home for things. But yeah, I can't do this. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, a white stone slab. Definitely have that. If it's not in here though. Where that's not correct? Or is it? Yeah, there we go. 20 of them I think it said. Yeah, okay. 12. 12. Grumpy. Oh my god. That's flame horned. Oh damn it. I'm gonna go do that, that's fine. And the enchanting runestone, which I have no idea where that is. It's on here, right? Enchanting. Yeah, okay, we need to go get them as well then. I'm honestly just gonna save these for now. And open this. I don't need that. That was kind of annoying. Didn't give me anything I needed. I get so disappointed now. When you first start playing a game and you get something you haven't got yet, and then you play it for so long, and then nothing's exciting when you get given a gift. It's like if I find something I haven't got, like, great. But the likelihood of me seeing something I don't already have, when the majority of these are, like, practically finished. Like, this is finished. This is almost finished. All I have is this. If I get this out of one of those bags, if not, I don't think it's going to give me, like... I don't think it's going to give me anything. Not that anyway. Not a starred one. I have to find it myself. We'll do that when I do some foraging, though. I just put the white stone slabs back. That is so annoying. What? They give stars, I think. Do they? I didn't get a starred one then. I got a regular one. I do wonder though if they will give me a starred one. We're gonna go back home. We're gonna go back home. I don't know my phone is here. Oh, we had the thing up. That's why. That's why. Okay, we go back and get these, and then we do like some frog hunting, but not the fun kind. Annoyingly. Annoyingly. It's not showing up again. Like, what is this bug? Why is this a thing? That's so dumb. Like, who came up with that idea? Who came up with that? Who was like, hey, let's implement this. Every time you go in your storage, it doesn't show everything you have. It just kind of like... shows about half of it. So you think you've lost everything. Can you imagine? I mean, at least it does show up when you go back in. It's just like... It's a little bit of a moment of panic. Little moment of panic. Okay, we're gonna go this way because I know that this is where they definitely spawn. So. Definitely make sure to get them. All we need is 8. I could probably do that quite easy, to be honest. We downloaded this game on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Still haven't even started it. How bad is that? That you've downloaded it and not played it yet? Terrible. You should really be playing the game right now. Honestly, just start whenever you feel like it. It's no pressure. There's actually no pressure. If you're just enjoying it right now by watching other people play, that is completely fine. But start when you're ready. Because I say to people, when you're new to the game... Wait, this probably isn't actually the best place. When you're new to the game, the worst thing you can do is rush things. And you want to spend, like, the first couple of hours really, really just, like, indulging in the game. So, like, the first time you play for, like, a good couple of hours. Set aside a good couple of hours before you play it. So, like, honestly, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing you haven't started it yet. You gotta get, like, a good day in where you're, like, super comfy and, like, you have all the time in the world. It's the best way to start it. And then you can be like, okay, this is what I can do next. Oh, Pile. Playing PC since you can type better. Definitely do play in PC for the majority of time. If you're not planning on talking to anyone, just play it on whatever that's the most comfortable. But yeah, I do agree. PC is the best, I would say, in terms of everything, but in terms of performance, honestly though, like you can play it on console too. Just not Switch. Don't bother playing on the Switch. No! I didn't need that one. I didn't need it. But yeah, I will always tell new players to just like chill. Chill with the game. Don't worry about anything. Just like play it when you're ready. I've rushed through a lot of the beginning of the game and I am gonna probably think about making another account so that I can play again for the first time. But nothing ever feels as good as what it felt when I played for the first time. Only shoot, I got 3 kids and a wife. Oh god. When do I ever have time? I download mostly for my wife, so she likes cozy games like Drown Valley, Coral Island, Harvest Moon. Oh, perfect. That's like the perfect game, honestly. Does she play it now, or are you both like sort of like new to not even playing it, but like thinking of playing it? That does suck though. You can't. I would say like if that's the case, you kind of just have to jump in. You kind of just have to jump in and play whenever you can. But don't rush through it thinking you don't have a lot of time. Just let it happen as it does. Yeah, if you can set aside time, do. If you can't, then just don't worry about it. Just yeah, you have to make a whole new account with like a new email. It's very annoying. It's not very convenient, but it's okay. I mean, I have like 4 emails or 5 emails, so it's not too big of a deal for me, but it's a bit annoying for other people, I think. I kind of do wish that we could just like jump straight in and do it. Kind of annoying. But what's more annoying is I cannot find this damn frog. I don't find the frog. Where is it? Where did this... Oh, swamps and forests. I'm in the wood and I cannot find them. Where are they? I don't know where they are. Yeah, they're not spawning for some reason. It says that they're any time of the day. Like someone else taking them all. Either that or they're like hiding from me. That is very difficult to happen, to be honest. Where else can I go? I feel like I've seen them around here, but maybe around here? Oh, swamp. Yeah, okay, maybe we go that way. We go to the side and see if I can find it. The thing is, I'm hearing all the Ogopoos. Where are they all? I can hear them. Oh, they're over there. I can hear them, but I just like can't see them and I don't even need them today. Game's always throwing things at me when I don't need them. Load. Wait, where is this tree? Oh, it's that one. Climbed up the wrong tree. Climbed up the wrong one. Maybe we can land on this? Can I land on it? No! No! Do you know what? I am guilty of saying, when I saw the like sneak peek of Elderwoods, I was like, oh, you know, climbing up the trees, that looks so cool. Like, such a cool mechanic that they've added in. I regret my words. I regret my words. I hate this. I despise it. Why must it be so annoying? Come on. I just want to go to the stable. I could run there, but honestly, like, I will get lost. So it reminds me of Zelda. I've barely played Zelda. I won't lie. I barely played it. But stamina in any game bugs me like crazy. Bugs me like crazy. But learn to use the bouncy shrooms. They're just not that good. They're just not that good. They probably worked for a few layers. I feel like they just don't work for me. I bounce someone and I fall. I just fall off it. There's a chest. Did we not say the other day that I found all of these chests? Look at this. That barely did anything. It barely did anything. It's barely worth it. I did not think to look around here. Hello? Oh! That's the last one! I got the map! I got the map! Okay, I'm actually really happy I did that now. Ooh. Wait, these are the ones you open, are they? No, they're the ones you eat. Okay, well, I'm happy about that. Because now I have a cute little map. But I don't need any of this. I need those frogs. Where are the frogs? Are you one? You're not, but that is. Found them. I found them finally. Right? Yeah. Found them. They're all spawned over here for some reason. They probably like the Ogapoos. The Ogapoos like to spawn in one place only. Even though they're supposed to spawn all over the map. So like... damn animals just got me like running around like a headless chicken. What are you? I don't know what you are. Yeah, you're one of them. Okay, we need 4 more. This is going a lot quicker. Now that we found them. And they're honestly not even that hard to catch. It said that they were difficult to catch, but for some reason they're just not. They're like incredibly easy to do, so... Wikipedia lied to me. Maybe they were harder before the patch, I don't know. Maybe they changed them. Loot pile, we found both the piles. Do you know what is really bad though? Is the fact that like... I originally had said that I was gonna do all the loot piles every day in all of the Did I need that? I think I did. We'll check. We'll check when we go back. We'll check for it. I'll keep it right there. I was gonna go to like Bahari and everything and get all the loot pile things. I haven't been to Kilma or Bahari without needing to. Without the genuine need for something in those like parts of the map, I haven't been. Oh, that's so annoying. I haven't been there. And I kind of miss it a little bit. Which honestly will probably help when I make another account. When we play on a new account. It will probably like help with the fact that I haven't been there in a while. It'll make me miss it more that I'll actually want to play it. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing that I haven't been there too much. So my other account will be more worth it and I'll actually take it slower. I think that might be why I've done it. Unintentionally, but it's been about 2 or 3 weeks. I spend all my time in Bahari and Killamore and now I just don't go there at all. Okay, does she... Oh, wrong way. Does she make this back for me and then I upgrade it myself? Oh, let's go see about the banner first, because if that completes a bundle, then we add 1 step closer to getting it finished. No. We didn't need it. But that's fine, because now we can trade for something. All good. All good. Here you go. I got everything you need. And you avoided my being overtaken by the shadow hunt in the Elderwood. Elderwood? Now she's saying Elderwood instead of Elderwoods. Is there an S or is there no S? Bring those items up to the forge and you'll be able to unlock the Aldo's power. And don't forget about the magic phase. What was it again? Was it Wiggly Whirl or something? Yeah. Been a couple of weeks, but like I still remember that. Honestly. This girl. Oh, I don't care. I do not care. Okay, and then we have to go back. So I think now do I do it my own? Like I don't have to like have it. Although I like it being on the screen more actually. I can tell us something different about you already. Don't forget, if you'd like to swap your relics out before going to the field, you'll need to be near a forge. Oh, and let me know if you've run into any malfunctions while using it. I'm at least 75% sure I've worked out all the most explosive kinks in design. Don't forget. Sounds like Najuma being like, yeah, like, if it just doesn't work, like, sorry about that, my bad. Weird, is it tracking it? Wait, nobody won? What is this? Nobody won. Oh, not again. Niall messed up trying to help Kenyatta and his mum and ended up helping no one. He wants to help gather flowers for an apology bouquet. This guy apologizes for everything. Everything. Okay, there we go. Purchase. 4 small spores. I have those. 6 sunburst butterflies. I might not have 6. And 15 pixie berries. Ooh, maybe we can do the bug hunting while we're at it, because I think that's where I can get that last bug I need. I think it's the starred one. Ooh, I have everything but this. Okay, where do I find these? Let's go find them. Guess we're not doing the pixie ones then. Although I probably do need them, but honestly, I'll just like leave it. I don't know what this butterfly is even called. I keep calling them butterflies, but they're literally not called butterflies. They're called batflies, and I just keep forgetting. Are you one? Maybe? Oh, I don't know if you are. You're like kind of difficult to catch. Oh, never mind, you're not. Oh, no, you're not. You're a lot rare. A lot rarer than the one I actually need for some reason. I hear one. I hear one, but I don't see it. You're not the right one either. It's blue and yellow. Is there any in here? It's not you. Could it be you? No. I think it is. It's like it's like yellow and blue. But they all look the same. You need some, but I think that's what it's called. I just need 2. I think I need 2. You need like 8. Yeah, I think apparently I have like 6. I just don't know where to find them. I don't know where to find them. I've had a lot, but it's daytime, I think. Oh. Hang on. How do I get back? How do I get out? I'm stuck. How do I get out? Maybe I can go and pick the pixie berries then instead. And then try and get that, what's it called? I need like that beetle or whatever it is. Maybe I'll look it up. They spawn in deep woods too anyway. Oh, okay, hang on. Is that what it's called? The, sunburst. Sunburst. Feel is tunnels. Okay, because it says it can spawn from the, what's it called? From the pixie berries. Or something like that. 6 AM to 6 PM. So we can't even do this one yet. Sucks. Do I go buy the other ones? Do I just go buy the other ones and see what I need? Maybe? Because I might be able to do one while the other one isn't available to be done. I feel like that might actually be more worth doing. Doesn't look like they're spawning. Strawberries take a while to find. I have like all of them. The only thing I need is the butterfly. Wait, why can I buy this? I haven't even done the other one. That's weird. Wait, which one did I just buy? I don't even know what I just bought. Save your bugs. I'm only at 1. It's not even showing it to me though, like... Huh? Why is it not like showing it anymore? That's so weird.
Not going to believe my latest theory.
Yeah, I know it's a quest, but you would have thought it'd be like showing you like what you just bought like grayed out, right? Like why is it not showing up? That's just very confusing. Anyway. You're the one who designed it. I spent many a sleepless night wondering if I should, but knowledge cannot be hindered by silly little things like danger. While you commit to making the bright eye amulet, you should know what forces you may anger. You see, this amulet is designed to attract bright eyes to you. Oh. The more you charge it up, the stronger its attraction becomes. Now that I think about it, you've proven yourself pretty capable of handling things. I think I have. I did the bundles. The bundles were... You know? The bundles kind of like prove everything. You might be the perfect owner for it. I've made up my mind. Oh god. She's like me. She's either like very stubborn about like what she's gonna do, or she's very like, oh no, it's fine, just do it. Once you've collected materials to craft it, let me know. Okay. Can I do just this one? Helium, Ogafu. I think we should have those. Except from the runestone. Alright, what? Show me, will it? I don't think I have the runestone. How do I get that? I can buy it, right? I can. Okay, we have to go back home anyway. I need to go grab my essence. My insane amount of essence. Go home. You might have some already. I have probably got everything. I'm not gonna lie, this is the problem. I've hoarded so much, especially in this last 2 weeks, that I just have like at least a little bit of everything. The runestones. Did I buy some? Did I buy some with the essence? I just used 2. Go back in just in case. Nope. I don't have any. I think I used them. But I do have... Wait, we need to go and do it in here actually, because there should be... You earn 2 and you buy 2. I don't know. I don't remember buying them. And I can still buy them, so I don't think it's like a problem. Might as well, but you have infinite shadows right now. Infinite? Wait, what? I have infinite? Because of the thing? Like, that it gives you infinite? It wouldn't let me buy it, though. It's capped to... I mean, because of the frog, but... Oh, yeah. Sorry. I don't have as much as I did have. But it's capped at 2. But do I only need 4 then if I can only get 2 from quests and 2 to buy? Like, how else do I get it? How do I do that? That sounds a bit like... That's a bit weird, right? Oh, we can go put those in the thing too. Helium bar. How many do I need? 6? You need 4 starter runes. Oh, okay. That makes sense then. I was like, hang on, but there's more. I need more. Like, what am I gonna do? Yeah, it'll be fine. I've used everything that I got from quests, and I'm pretty sure I've done every single quest so far. So, right now, the only thing I can do is buy them. Ogofu skin. What did I say? I needed this. I knew I'd need it. 10. I knew I'd end up needing it for something, but it's only 10, so it's not too big of a deal. It's 4. Oh, wait, do you need it for the... Okay, I'm guessing then you need it for, like, the... base one, right? Like, you need it for the... Oh, my voice. The first and last one, yeah. That makes so much sense. So, like, I don't need it for every single thing. I just need it for, like, the beginning one. Okay, I got it. My phone is going crazy with Fortnite notifications. Did not even realize there was something going on today. 2-3 is just random stuff. Oh! My game lagged. Okay, so like we don't need them for anything else. It's just for those beginning ones. That's fine. I can go buy them. Like these are insane. Do I need this one? Yeah. Oh, thank God. Okay, so I'm out of these ones. But I can get these ones as well, but I don't need them yet. Let's go back. And then when it's 6 a.m. I can do the Batfly too. Bring those items over to the forge and you'll be able to unlock the endless power. And don't forget about the magic phrase. Oh. What is it? Like wiggle something? Such a weird word. Like, why did they come up with these things? Okay. I have almost all of the original, like, first versions now. We're actually getting somewhere. Maybe I am going to be productive. Tell them something different about your ID. Don't forget if you'd like to solve your relics. Yeah, we know. We know. You keep telling me that. Keep telling me that. So wait. Ah, there we go. Okay, we need to go and buy that one. Because now we have like 2 that we can do. And if I need to buy 2 of the rune stones now, then I actually am kind of good that I kept some of the essence. Yeah, I can't do either of them like right this very second. I am gonna have to go do something for them, which is good because that's the whole point in what I was gonna do today. So that's fine. What do we do then? We need insects. It's all insects. Okay, let me get these up so that I know. Oh, that is not what I meant to do. That is also not what I meant to do. So we need the Dragon Beetle. And then the Veal Pixie. Okay. Veal? I know where that one is. I keep finding these. Anytime. So that one will be easy to get anytime. So it's just the other one that I need to do at a certain time. So we need to go and find this guy. So we're gonna go to like... I think I'll go to the deep wood, see if I can find them. Not yet, like they won't be there just yet, but it's fine. Veil. Thank you. Veil. Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying it like that. I'm really bad. Wait, this is one of the ones I need, right? At least I think it is. Yeah. Nice. I didn't even see how many I needed, but we'll just like... I only need a couple of each, I think. I got like 10 to 15 of them, and I should be fine. Because we can't do the other one for another 2 hours. Oh. Might as well do these ones while we wait. I'm assuming they're gonna spawn wherever all the ones are spawning. So it shouldn't be like too difficult to find. Even though I can't really. Oh, never mind. I can see some. We got 3. I think I need to like 8 of these. Honestly, I could just like catch them all. Instead of thinking how many I need, because I did not take a picture of it. So, relics. And we are trying to find... I didn't even put any of them on because I don't even need them right now. There's not really much point. I mean, I could have used this one because then I would be able to catch them no matter what, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm not going back. It's fine. So the bright eye. Tell me how to do it. Oh, that would have been so much better. Right eye. We're doing the second one though. Crafting. Right eye 2. I need 12. Wait, 12 starred ones? 12 starred ones? Okay. Okay, not a big deal. Not a big deal. It's fine. It's fine. I'll find it. I think we had like 4 of these. Shouldn't you be doing the idol? I have no idea. I can't do that one yet because it needs the other thing. Because like I cannot do it for a whole nother hour. Like I can only do so many of them at certain times. So I'm kind of just like, also I kind of do need essence now. Because I need 2,500 times 2, I think. And I'm going to be below 20k and that scares me for the next update. That scares me a little bit. I'm like, what is this update going to bring? What do I need? I think I'll forever be like that with PALIA. I don't think I'll ever be like, oh, I'm fine. I'll get it when I need it. I'll always panic about something. But yeah, I can't do the other butterfly until it's 6 a.m. There's 6 till 6. Damn it, I thought you were something else. But yeah, these are here right now, and so the other ones, so I'm just kind of like, let's do these. We can do either of them anyway, it's just kind of like a matter of doing what I can in the moment. It's not about me like just standing around and doing nothing when you can do the other one. You know? There's no rush. I was rushing before, I was trying to get these things done so quick, and I was just like, I don't need to. I just want to get them done before the next update so that if they release anything, like, I don't know what's going to be in this next update. And it's going to be soon, right? I'm pretty sure we get the next update around the 13th or something, right? Isn't that normally when we get an update? It's spawning. No, it's not. I thought that was the yellow and blue one. I was like, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Oh, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I only have 1 starred one. Oh, this person is not happy. I don't know what's going on in the chat. Spiteful? Drama in PALIA. See, these mushrooms don't do anything for me. I've got another one. Oh no. Oh no. I hope they're not talking to me because I'm like not. What the heck is happening? Literally, what is going on? I'm like, minding my own business. Minding my own business. Where are all the butterflies? Wait, the other ones are gonna spawn in now. It's gonna make it harder to find these ones. Every time I hear like a sparkle, I always think it's a insect, but then it happens to be a pixie berry every time. Every time. Back to my homeland. I miss this place. I don't miss the exhaustion from it, but I miss it, you know? Maybe I should have put my bag on and I could have been catching the infected ones. Although I don't know if I have... Yeah, I don't. I actually don't have much ammo at all. I have barely anything right now. Oh my god. Guys, stop fighting. Stop fighting. Honestly, I might have to go put the bag on. Because this is not working. I also feel like I might have to even go buy more ammo or make some. Because I don't have much left. Don't have much left. And it looks like I could do with going to Zeki's anyway. I honestly can't find any of them right now. None of them are spawning at all. Oh, Nope, that was literally not a butterfly. It was literally not a butterfly. That was... it's like a dandelion in the wind. Honestly. Why are they all gathered there? They know something we don't. This is like the second spot it happened at, right? Why are they just like... Are they trolling us with that spawn? Try the grove. Okay, let me try and... Wait, how far is the grove? Yeah, we're gonna have to fast travel. We're gonna have to fast travel because in no way that I'm gonna be able to fly. Run the whole way without getting lost. Yeah, that wasn't a start one. Bruh, bot be gone. Every stream. How do I get rid of these? Found the weirdest thing I've actually noticed recently is the new like Twitch chat scam. I don't know what the scam is, but they're like coming to your chat and they're like, oh, I can't hear you right now. I don't have headphones on. My headphones are at work, or something. Can you reply to me in chat so that I know that you see this? I'm like, excuse me? And then they're like, oh, I followed you on Twitter. Follow me back. What? Hi. That's how I know you're a bot. You even say hi. You want me to follow you on Twitter? You're not even gonna say hi to me? Rude. I don't know what that's about. That's so weird. It is. Like, the scams on Twitter, on Twitch are so weird. Like, usually it's kind of just like, buy followers here. It's like, yeah, I know you're a bot. But the ones with like the graphic designer people coming in and being like, I'm a graphic designer. Your Twitch assets suck. I will make you some. I'm like, I spent time making these. They might not be the best, but they're actually okay, you know? And then they're like, yeah, I can make you better ones. Like, first, rude. Second, go away. Hello. Hi, DJ. Thank you for the look. I appreciate it. But yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I just ignore the bots now and just like kick them out. They used to irritate me. I used to be like, oh, I have someone in chat. They're talking to me, and I'm like, ah, they're not real. I'm still working, but hope you're well. Oh, I hope your day goes well. I hope work is okay. But I am good. Hopefully you're doing good too. I just go back to the deep wood. There's nothing here. Go on. Go on. Please, PALIA gods. Just give me a couple, and then I'll like. We'll work for the rest. Like, just a few would be nice. You give me one of the purple, the blue and yellow ones. I need another one. Okay, another like 6. How many do we actually need total though? We need 12 starred ones of the veil ones. Ridiculous. Fine weather is just insane mode. High temperature and it rained. It's been like, whereabouts are you? Because like where I am, it's like 15 degrees consistent throughout the whole day. But it's like, it stopped now. It stopped raining, but it was so bad. Like, you see how like bright my window is? When I first like set up stream, I had to like adjust the camera because it was like this. I started streaming, it got really dark outside. Had to change the camera again. 27 in my working room. Oh my god. Hopefully you have a fan or something. Oh my. That's not good. That sounds like hell. Yikes. I mean, honestly, when it rains and it's sunny, you know that there's a problem. I can feel the humidity. Like, I'm not hot. Like, I have a cardigan on. Like, I'm not hot. But I can feel it. I can feel it in the air. You go outside and it's like hot to breathe. It's like when you step off a plane for the first time. Like, when I've been on like a plane and it's like so cold where I am, and then I get to another country and it's like really hot and it hits you in the face. Like, I'm over that far away, just over in Germany. Oh my god. That's so bad. Like, why is the entirety of Europe just like... The weather is just mad. I don't know what's going on. Well, I do. It's global warming, let's be real, but... You know? Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Wait, I didn't realize I could get to the deep wood that way. I don't know why. That's really bad. I mean, it's gonna rain in the UK for like the next week, which I'm very annoyed about. Like, I don't love high temperature, but I also don't hate... I'm very complicated. I don't want it to be boiling hot when I'm outside, but I also don't want it to rain when I'm outside. But if I'm inside, it can just be like standard temperature with rain for the atmosphere, right? I love rain for the atmosphere. Great. I don't want it to rain when I'm outside. Okay, I don't know where to find this. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I like 2025 as long as immediate level's fine. 2025 is hell. I struggle with like regulating my temperature. So like when it's really, really hot, it's not good. Anything above 15 is a problem for me. 15's good. 15's like warm for the UK. Like it's fine. Anything below 10 is just like ridiculous. It's too cold. I don't know what's best. I don't know what's best. 6 till 6, what time is it? It's only 9. Why are we not able to find this? Oh. It says Matana Grove. It says Matana Grove. It's Matana Grove! I was like, oh, I'll go here and find it. Instead, they're right here. I found one, but I was like, oh, I'll go somewhere else and try and find them. Okay, you're being very annoying. Please just let me catch you right now. This is rude. This is rude. Hello? You're not even that rare of a bug. Are you being for real? What? 15 is also fine for a t-shirt. Yeah. I like the temperature when it's not cold. It's not cold enough to wear like a coat, right? Like I don't have to be wrapped up, but I also don't have to be like absolutely sweating, right? It's like an in-between. 15 is like an in-between. It's like a really good balance. Like I wouldn't mind if it just went for 15 all the time. I'd be very grateful for that. But that doesn't happen. One way or the other. Oh, I am struggling. Oh, we were gonna put the... I just realized what we went back for. We were gonna do... we were gonna put a bag on. I completely forgot. Let's just go home and try and get some bombs from Zeki or something. If you put vegetation to 0 under graphics, you can't see the bushes anymore, but you can still see every bug using... Oh my god. Oh. I did something like that for the... Back when like the forageables in like Bahari were really good, like in the beach. I did it then. That was like the kind of thing I did. I don't remember what I actually did, but it was like... It was definitely worth doing it back then for that. I just don't like to change my settings when I'm live because my PC is like, oh, you want to change things right now? Yeah, my PC can only handle so much before the bitrate starts to be a problem too. Annoyingly. Every time I open like something else alongside all the streaming stuff, it's like, we're gonna crash your stream. I think it might be called... I think of the word. I don't know what the word is. I'll try to think of what the word is. I need to look. It's gonna bug me if I don't look. Like the grass or something. What was it called? It's called something else. I swear it was called something else. Foliage. Where is it? This. Yeah. Foliage. Yeah, I used to do that for that because it helped you see like the shells and things better. But I don't really want to change anything because it's gonna make my game run different and that scares me a little bit. Seems to be running somewhat okay now. I had a problem with it not long back and I changed a lot of stuff, but I just don't seem to find them. They're just not there. I can't see them anywhere. Oh, I didn't even need to buy these. Oh well. Oh well, we bought them anyway. Why not? That's where I went to finish. And I good luck. I hope it treats you well. Hope it treats you well. We need to... Okay, we're gonna go... We've done that, we'll probably get like a lucky coin now. But we need to... Do I need to do anything while I'm here? No. Okay, let's go back to Elderwood and put on the bag, and then I can pick up any of the books. Any of them. So that's really good. So we can pick up any of them even if they're infected, it's not going to be a problem. Because right now it's kind of a problem. When I see one, I might not know which one it is because I'm blind, but I'm not picking it up. And I'm just leaving it. So it's kind of like, what is the point? What's the point in having relics and making them if I'm not going to use them? So let's do that. And then we have to go to Matana Grove. Hopefully doing that might have sent us to a different server. Because we did not have good luck doing that. But I didn't realize it said this. It says the location is in Elderwood, but the biome is in Matana Grove. Why didn't I see that? Oh, it doesn't say on everything. Just on that one. Oh. That's a little bit annoying. They're like pesky. They're really annoying. They don't want to be caught. We'll just run around in circles. We'll just run around in circles. It's fine. Wait, can we... I think we can go up here. No, something's telling me that the surface is so flat. Yeah. I'm stuck, though. No, that is not what I wanted to do. I'm stuck. Damn it. Bitrate. Bitrate. Oh my god, the bitrate. We're fine. Okay. We cannot climb up there. We cannot climb up there. Okay, we got it. We're fine. Do I have to catch the... Should I start catching frogs? I think I should be catching frogs. And then maybe the, batflies will spawn. I feel like that might be the problem. There's a lot of frogs, but nothing else. I feel as though that could be the problem. Although now I don't see any frogs. There's one over here. Yeah, maybe that is the problem. Oh. Yeah. It's not the one we wanted, but it's fine. I need a starred version of that. It's like impossible to find. We have two. But maybe if I start picking everything else up, it'll actually spawn in. I keep forgetting to do that. I don't know what made me think that just catching what you needed would be a good thing. I've always done that. I've always done like catching what I need or mining what I need or hunting what I need instead of like doing it all so that something else will spawn. Terrible. I'm like the worst person when it comes to PALIA. This is why I said to people, they're like, oh, how long have you been playing? A very long time. But don't ask me for advice because I barely know anything myself. I guess it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It just means I have to learn as I go. This is what happens when you skip the game. I'm the prime example of do not skip the game. Don't fast, like, don't, what's it called? Don't, speedrun? Speedrun. Don't speedrun it. Why was I speedrunning PALIA? That's like the weirdest thing. Oh. see all the frogs though still. I don't even need them. I can guarantee when we were here last time trying to do the frogs, there were like loads of the butterflies flying around and I didn't pick them up. Now I'm gonna have regrets. Wait. There you are. Yeah, hopefully they start to spawn now. Otherwise, I might have to, like, travel to someone else's server. Oh, frog. Hello. That could work. Trying to, because this is the only place they spawn, and they only spawn for so long. Oh, wait. Do I have no one online? I only have one person online. We're on the same server. That is so annoying. Damn it. Why does the game do this? I don't want to leave it because they only spawn for so long. So I just gotta keep running around. We only have 5 in our game. 5 in-game hours. Oh my god. 5 in-game hours until they despawn. Even though they're not spawning now. I'm being trolled. Either that or someone else is trying to catch them too. I can try and request them, but I don't think I have like... Is it just regular ones? Is it regular? I need to make sure it's a regular one, not where? Okay. We need it. Normal ones. Okay, I might just request them. I might just have to request it because I'm not gonna find these. I can find the other ones. You can use alert. I don't have any. I don't have any. I can't buy any. I don't think I can make any either. Can I even buy one? I can buy one. Am I gonna have time though if I go back? I have to go find I have to fast travel back, find him to get one, and then come back, place it, and get more. I only need 2. I just requested them. Someone might give them me though before you're online. But the lure is a good shout. I accumulated like 20 lures, and then the frog thing happened, and I used them all for that. I only need 2. And wait, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to go to... Hello. All I need is 2 and the game will let me find them. I think that's all I needed. I think I had 4. This is why you just don't get rid of things. I say it every time. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Wait though, I should probably still go get the lure, shouldn't I? Like, for the other ones. Because I am struggling to find them. Like, because I need to start one and stuff. Is he not here? Damn it, he's in the field. But yeah, thank you. I don't think I would have found them in time. We would have been doing this on Friday as well. Wait, where is he? Oni, can you stop running so quick? This is the one character that I always need to find. And he runs. He's the only one that runs. I don't understand why he has to run. I'll buy 2. I'll buy 2. And then we can go back. I almost feel like, I know the reason why the relics obviously exist is like logical, it's a mechanic in the game. But then also like the reason why the ingredients? exist only in Elderwood is obviously to make you explore it. I almost feel like they should have made us go back to like Kilmer and Bahari so we wouldn't just be in Elderwood. I feel stuck. I feel like I need to be here. I don't know, like... I don't think I have any way of getting out. There we go. We can make it. Yeah. We can go by the other one now. Let's see. Wait, this one. Let's see. Which one am I going to be more likely to even get? Probably not that one. Maybe this one? Okay. Well, we can't buy any more. I can't buy any more because I don't have the ability to. But I think I bought this. So this is something else we need. So we can get these at any point in time. So I can just do these the entirety of the stream now. So we have the amulet, the scales. I also need the beetle and the pixie. So we can go do those. Those are quite easy. I'm feeling if you want to help. You can come with me if you want. I don't know where I'm looking. I'm just looking on the wiki to try and find them. If I'm being completely honest. We need 6 beetle and... Well, is it... Draga? Beetle? And the Veil Pixie. So they literally are just like everywhere. It doesn't even say... Oh, the Elderwood caves. So we have to go to a cave. But they do spawn in places that aren't the cave, so I'm a little bit confused about that. Let's see if friend needs moved. I'll try to surprise them. Okay. You have like everything right now. I feel like I have like nothing. I've run out of stuff. I've gone from being like, having everything I needed to having like nothing all over again. I think it's because of the frogs. I honestly used so much stuff because of the frogs. Kinda? Oh my god. Have you done like, how many accomplishments have you done? I think I've done pretty good, but I've not done all of it. It's mainly the fishing I think I need to do. Oh, we'll do that one day. I have no idea. There's honestly like, the chances of me getting them done is very slim anytime soon, at least. But like, I do want to kind of like try and get them done because there's some I still haven't done like on here. Is there like bugs or anything that I haven't? Yeah, look. These are the regular ones from the main game and I haven't even done these yet. Like these are not that difficult. And yeah, I've struggled to find them because I haven't played enough to find them. Like, I play a lot, but then I just don't focus on it. So I just never get it done. Just grab any shiny ones, my new. True. True, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. We'll probably do like the accomplishments at some point. When I don't like have anything I want to do, that's when I'll like try and do that. Because it'll give me something to do, right? Like I won't be just sat here going, I don't know what to do. I have nothing to do. You have accomplishments you could do. I always say that. I always say like, hey, if you say you have nothing to do, you probably do. So it would be very contradictory for me to be like, I have nothing to do. I do have like a couple of quests to do, to be honest, but I'm gonna leave them for now. But we need to, it says to go to the caves, but I found this butterfly thing. What's it called? The Veil Pixie. I found it just roaming around. So I'm a little bit confused. Yeah, if you want to join me, just like, you can invite me and like try and hop on my server. Veils are deep in the wood. See, it says that in my mind. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But on the wiki, it says biome Elderwood caves. Like if I go in here, is that where they're gonna be? So that's not it. That's not it either. Like, oh. Are you one? You might be one. No, you're blushing. Yeah, like I'm I'm gonna go to the deep wood. I think that's like where I found them a lot. And then the grove as well. The grove seems to be like, oh yeah. Hello. Deep wood. I found them in the grove too, but they're not as common. Maybe we just put like a lure down. Like just like where should we put it? Is there like an empty place? Really? I don't think there is. Here? I'm following someone else because I thought it was you. That's funny. That's one. Is it starred though? I need starred ones. What did I just do? I did something. It's not. I have a lure I can use. I can put it down. They do seem to spawn around here, so I probably could just put it down. There? Wait. Let's see. Oh. They're all gonna be... If they're all regular, I swear. That would be extremely annoying. For them to just be regular ones instead of the, other ones. Very annoying. They're all regular. Oh, I got a starred one. I got one. Wait, let me put this on here so I know. Okay, we have 3. Oh, they move so quick. I don't even know how many do I need? Okay, we'll get how many I get, and then we'll see if I have enough. Because this is definitely a good place to get them. Come back. I think you might be sparkly. No? You are! Yeah. We might actually get this. We might just do it. Oh my god, how many bags is there? Oh my god. I'll pick these ones up and see if I actually have it. We got one. Nice. I cannot hit them. They are too quick. They're too quick. You're one. Need you. And you. Hey. Okay, like, they're not even difficult to find. That's the thing. I feel like it's so weird. They're not even hard to get, but they're just, like, difficult to catch. They like to run. Oh. Oh, wait. It doesn't matter what time it is. It's the other ones that mattered. I was like, oh no, like, they're gonna disappear now. But we're fine. Okay, we have 8. That's really good. I don't need these, but I'm gonna catch them in case I do. I have a feeling I might need them. Something's telling me I might actually end up needing them. Oh, I keep hearing them, but I never actually see where they are. Like, I hear the little, like... the little noise. Okay, I got 9. How many do I need? 12. Damn it! I don't know how many I had. I need 12. Did I need 8? Like, I need 12 overall. I might have enough. What's the other one, though? I need the like, black and pink beetle. Where's the oh, so this way. That one's hard to find. I have some. I only need like, I think I only need like 2. I think I only need like 2. Okay, okay, thank you. Starred? No. It's the is it Draga beetle? I think. If that's how you say it. I don't know how to say it. Oh, let's see. Have I even caught one is the question. Oh, I have this one. Hello, Toadie! How's your day going? I hope it's well. Thank you. I don't know how many I need. I think I need a 2. So let's see. Let's see. If so, you've solved my problem. Let's see. I might have done it. You might have finished it. Not all of them, but some of them. I did! I only needed 1. You gave me 2. Thank you. I appreciate it. We finished it. What did I need to do for the other one? Because I still have these. How many of them did I need? Did I only need like 2? Thinking my lower and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go back home quickly, I think, maybe, and see. Or maybe I'll check the table first. Hang on. The veil looks like it was just normal at the start I saw. Oh! On the Wikipedia it says start. That's odd. Oh, with the update? Maybe. Maybe. People might have been mad. Maybe. They are kind of difficult to find, not gonna lie. And it's like 12 and I only got 9, so you can imagine how like annoyed I was. I'm like, I can't find them. Okay, we cannot buy any more. So I'm gonna go put these stuff in my chest. With a lure, it's not terrible with a lure, but you kind of need 2. You kind of need 2 lures to actually get 12. Like, unless you're lucky and like you get double loot. Because all the double loot, I think, was like normal versions. So. But with a lure, it's still kind of ridiculous. I'm just honestly gonna keep them because I'm worried about not. Also, I should probably have gone and bought them too. But what else can I do to be productive? I was supposed to be productive, and I did all the things I needed to do. It's almost like it's a man now. Is this my only lucky coin? Are you guys proud of me? I actually need to go use these quickly because what? I have 8 coins. Are you kidding me right now? 8 coins. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. There's just no way. I got stickers. You got stickers? Do you want to trade? I don't really have any. Do I have, how many repeats do I even have? You have 8 and didn't spend them. I know. I can go for fun if you want to. While the thing's open, I can. I don't really know what I have though. Probably nothing worth like trading for, to be honest. You probably have a lot more than I do. I honestly cannot believe. Let's go down and do it down there instead. I might even buy some. Maybe. I did say earlier I was thinking of like spending gold on them because it's worth it more than the housing pieces. It's RNG, you might have something. Maybe. I don't know what's good. I am not up on the player market. The player market of things, like I have no idea what people want. Let's use these and buy them. That is satisfying. Okay. Seeds. Seeds. Just could get one of each. I have duplicates I can give. I have duplicates, but I think they're like really boring ones. Oh, I got something. I got something. Didn't need that. Didn't need that. Didn't need that. Didn't need that. Okay, I got one thing. Can I complain? Am I allowed to complain, or am I supposed to be like chill because the game actually gave me something? Sunrise set is good. Supreme is fun. Okay, okay. We'll see. You can tell me what I have that's good. Because so far my RNG isn't good. If no push, okay. I got furniture, so I think I'm a little bit happy, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm mad. I don't need any of these. Like, what is this? Why do I use a standard arrow? You don't use standard arrows after, like, you get to, like, level 10, like, in my opinion. I wouldn't. But that's just me. I don't even know what I have. Wait, how do I trade stickers? Do I go to a different one? Oh. Is this one? In fact, I'll just, like, go in here in case someone wants to trade for me. I'm like, let's go check. Stickers. Okay. I have 5 of these. 3 of those. 3 of those. 3 of those. 2, 3, 2, 3. That's it. I don't have that many repeats, actually. I have so many. I don't have that many. I have this much. It's not that many. The one I have the most of is just this one. I don't know why I have so many of this one. 3 repeats, I check. When? Are you here? You're here. Hello. Okay. Oh. Wait, what? I was like, hang on a minute. What happened? That's my first 3 repeats. Oh, I don't actually think I have that one. I'm down needing 4. You can come too and see what I have. I mean, I don't know what I have that's worth it. But I'm like up to giving you guys anything. If anyone needs anything I have, like, take it. If I ever repeat, I don't need it. I have all 3? Okay, hang on. Let's try the next 3. This one. This. Oh, you've already got that one. Why am I saying that one? I already know you have that one. This one. And this one. Oh wait, let me like literally just do that then. Hang on. Tell me exactly which ones, and I'll give you it. Whichever like ones that you don't have that I do have. I put them all? Okay, hang on. Was it these ones? Was it these ones? Wait, the delightful one. Which one's the delightful one? Delightful. Which one's delightful? I don't know which one that one is. The right side. Oh, this one? Is that right? I actually had something you didn't have? Let's go. Let's go. I didn't actually expect me to have anything you needed. Do I have any of the other ones? Howdy partner, hush, my word, and trade offer. Okay. All 3 of them are new to me. Probably got more. Let's see. If I have any other ones you need. You have all like the ones I have up top. I have like... Oh, you already have this one because you just gave it to me, but... Actually, I think you have all the other ones I have. Because like the only other ones I have is like... This one. Or this one. I don't have a spare one of that. The Hush one. Are you missing? I have no idea what I'm missing. I don't look like I have any of yours though, Tony. Almost looks like I have all of yours. Like, what does my word look like? You have them all? Okay. Damn it. At least I had some though. At least I had some. That's better than nothing. But yeah, I don't think I have your other ones. My word is Eshe. Okay, you guys know these things. I just like somehow don't remember them. No. Nope. No, it's that one. I don't have it. What's, did you say the other one? That's all I don't have them. Oh no, I don't have them. But you got 3 new ones. That is right. True, true. It was worth it. I don't know, like, I don't have all of these. I'm missing all of these. Look how cute this guy is. Obviously anything I know related. Oh, puppy dog eyes. Oh my god. Stay on your needed for a sec. Wait, I'm needed? I'm needed? Why am I needed? Who needs me? What? Do I have something you need? Are you on your way? On your needed stickers. Oh, okay, hang on. Hang on. Wait, that's the wrong thing. Down here. These are the ones I need. I don't need many actually. I honestly thought I had less than I do. Although I am kind of annoyed that I didn't. I haven't, or I didn't. I don't know if they're still available to buy the other ones because they're kind of cute. But I don't want to buy stickers. I feel like that feels a bit ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. Ad break starts in 3 minutes. I apologize. I don't know. I feel like I actually kind of want them now. When I was playing before, I wasn't too bothered about the stickers. I was kind of like, oh, I like the plushies more, but... You have a double? What's the found it one? I only have 2 dupes left, so I can't trade. Do you want me to trade you a couple I have more of? Les, and then you can like trade some people. I can give you one that I have like... I can give you 3 so that you have more. Because I have a couple of 3s and 5. Just so like you can trade with some. That would help. I can do that. Come back. Even if you don't need them, it's better that you have them than you can just trade with them. We're trading the same one. I don't know which one found it is. Let me see. Found it. What would that look like? I don't know what that would look like. That one. Ooh. Are you here? You here? If you want to. I don't know if I have anything I can give you though. I might honestly go see what's around here as well. I kind of forget that I can use my... I kind of forget that I can use like my coins to buy things now. Wait, I kind of like that. I will be, and it will be fun. Okay, okay, okay. I appreciate it. We're gonna buy some coins.
Thanks for the visit, pal.
I'm gonna buy some coins. Just because I can. Wait, you bought something from that. Wait, why did it say that as if I hadn't already done it before? Friend needs me on the ranch again. Have fun. Have fun. Okay, let's see. Don't need that. Don't need that. Did I just get... Did I just get a... I got the cutest one. Oh my god. Oh my god. I actually just... W to the frogs. Just before the ads as well. I'll see you guys in a minute. That's so good. There's no way. There's no way I just got that. There's no way. That makes me so happy. He's so cute. I love him. I think I might already have one, but I'll take another one. I don't know if I do have it. But if I do, then hell yeah. Oh my god. There is just no way I actually just got that. There is just no way. Oh my god. Oh my god. No shot. No shot, right? I almost feel like I should play a couple of rounds while we're down here. So don't come here very often. And then I can maybe try and get some from the other machine too. It does give it, right? The prize machine. Does it prize machine? The prize wheel. It gives plushies too, right? That is so good. We actually accomplished 2 things. We were productive and we got plushies. I'll take that. I'll take that as W. Hell yeah. I love that. Like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be productive. I'm gonna try not to, like, do plushies today. We did both. I didn't even try. All I did was buy it. I feel like I might have to do that now. Like, now when I have too much money, I just, like, come and buy coins. That's what we need to do. So that got me such good luck. That's insane. I was like, I'm gonna buy a couple. I probably won't get anything from it. At first, I thought it was like a rug or something. I was like, oh, it looks like a rug that I've seen before. No. Not a rug, it's a plushie. That is one of the plushies I think they need to make IRL. I'm not gonna lie. It's so cute. Okay, I need to be drinking water when I'm live because I keep forgetting to do that. I go 3 hours sometimes without drinking water. That is not good. I mean, I drank like a liter and a bit. Like, what, like 1.5 liters already, but still. Still. Need to be drinking. Also, think about what I'm... Oh, we went dark again. Yeah. So every time it rains, it gets really dark. And the window becomes visible. And then when it's not raining, it's like blinding. We just have to leave the camera as it is. The weather can't make its mind up. But actually, it's not a bad thing. When I end stream, the thing I want to do, I'm going to go get food. I'm going to figure out what I'm eating. But then we're going to go get food. And I've nearly finished my book. The first book, I'm pretty sure it's the first book I've ever finished. That sounds kind of lame. I'm 25 and I've never finished a book before. But I'm really proud of myself, but I've also enjoyed it. Like, I don't think I've ever actually enjoyed reading before. So, like, the first time finishing a book and I'm excited to finish it. I have like 50 pages left. I read nearly 50 last night. I read 22 at the beginning of like the week. No, the end of last week actually. Of the weekend. I read like 22 pages in an hour. I thought, that's not bad. It's pretty good, right? For me, it's pretty good. And I learned that like 30 is like average. I read 50 pages last night in an hour. I was like, what is going on? You have book club today? Oh, that sounds so fun. I just, I really do wish that I had read more in my life. Like, how did I get to 25 and never read? I feel like I'm becoming obsessed. What is happening to me? I like reading. I like Stardew Valley. Something weird's happening. I'm in the underground. Let me leave this. Can I leave this game? Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I don't want it to close. We're getting old. I don't mind it. I do not mind it. Wait. Sorry. I don't mind it. At all. But it's just so funny to me. Like, I got into like, I think I turned 25. I say this, like the whole thing around when you get to 25, your frontal lobe is supposed to slide into place or something. You can't see it on the screen, but he has puppy dog eyes. You have puppy dog eyes. I'm getting everything right now. Oh my god. I'm just like, I'm getting blessed. Oh my god, I actually got the puppy dog eyes. Thank you. Thank you. I actually really wanted that. It was the first one I'm actually been like, oh my god, I need. Thank you. Appreciate it. How many more did I get there? Did I get 2? You guys are so great. Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh my god. Now I'm just gonna spam people with with these. Hopefully you get good luck today. The Palian gods will bless you guys. Gave you 3? 3? I'm getting everything now. Wait, did I get anything from that? Can I use 1 coin? Can I use 1 or is it 2? Damn it, it's 2. Okay, I was gonna say, like, I could have spent the entire time just playing that now. But it's gonna close. I hate that. Why are we not able to just play Hot Pot when we want? That bugs me like crazy. That bugs me like crazy. But I think I need to go look at this guy. Because, like, are you kidding me right now? Is a little cow in dungarees. Oh, to control burnout, you have a good point. I did play it a lot when it was at the market. The thing you can do down there now is trade and fish. Really? That's really bad. That's really bad. Oh, it's closed. Okay, well, we'll have to go do something else. Instead of obsess. Maybe I go back home and look at the plushie for a minute. We cannot even do the relics, so I might as well close it. It's so dark out there. Why? It's like the sky's pure white, but it's like it feels very dusky and like weird. I don't know. Like it's windy and it's raining. Like this is the perfect weather for reading. Especially for the book I'm reading. So hopefully. We'll see. But I don't feel like there's any point in me like staying down there and fishing. Wait. I could just go back. Yeah, I don't feel like there's any point in me fishing or anything. I feel like that's kind of useless. I don't really need to fish here. I feel like I have a good amount of fish from Kilima. Because when I say I used to fish, this is the other place I used to fish in. Oh, look at him. Look at him. Okay, my bee's getting in the way, but... Oh my god, he's so chubby and cute. I need this IRL. Like, are you kidding me right now? I'm kind of hoping... I've realized... The dev blog... I keep saying blog. The dev blog, they basically said about, obviously, with the animals and stuff, we haven't been able to, like, obviously hunt this guy. Because, like, why... I'm not going to do that. I already feel bad enough hunting chappers and stuff, but... I think this might be one of the animals we can raise. I don't know what everyone else thinks, but I feel like it might be. And there's 3 of them. Oh my god. Now I'm going to have to do it. Now we're going to have to go make money so that we can buy coins, so that we can get plushies, because for some reason I can't find them out in the wild, but I found one on a lucky try with a coin. So now I feel like it's my duty to do that. Like, I need more of you. Look how cute he is. Look at him. He's so cute. Oh no. I'm gonna become addicted. I'm gonna leave him. I'm gonna leave him right here for now. so that when I come home, I could just like greet him like he's my little pet. I wish he could follow me around. That'd be really cute. Oh, my garden. Yeah, I've been neglecting it. So you have a good point. Let's put the stone in this. Let that build. Now we have 2. Let me pick this one up. I've been neglecting it purely because I just don't care enough about it right now. With the update, I've just not cared about anything that wasn't Elderwoods related. So it's like every hour you have time, it's the best passive income. It is. I do need to get back into it. I think I'm at that point with the update now where I'm not feeling very like obsessive. You know, like the first week of it, it was like I just wanted to play Elderwood. I didn't want to do anything else. I just wanted to be there. And then the second week, I kind of slowed down a little bit. And now I feel like, okay, I could possibly spend time in other places. You know? Possibly. I'd probably still have to go there every day when I play, but I miss the plushies because I traded all the way and don't have pressure anymore. Wait, you traded them all? Every one of them? Oh my god. That's not good. That's not good. What? You traded all the Ogre and Schmoll? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I don't even have any of them yet. I don't even have any of them yet. Wait, what is this? Let's see what this is. Okay. Okay, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. It's okay, but I would have been happy with an extra plushie, but I can't complain too much. Because they're worth limited plushies at the moment. Oh, are they worth it more than like... Are they worth it to get stuff like this? Is that why? Been using the same excuse, not been decorating because of the Elderwood. It was a good excuse until a friend pointed out that I stopped decorating long before Elderwood came out. Yeah, it's been really bad. Like, this is all I've done in terms of decorating. I just moved around the houses and stuff. And I like the layout more. This hasn't been touched. And I want to build, like, a little wooded area, right? I want this to be covered in trees and stuff. And have, like, this thing, like, covered by trees and just, like... I think it'd be really cute, but I haven't done it. Because I'm like, I'm too busy with the Elderwood. Girl. Got a Nibbles, the dragon plushie for them, and the pink Margie and the chat. Oh, the pink Margie. Isn't that the only one you can get? You can only get that from the I don't know what it's called. The like energy drink thing. I don't know if that's right. Maybe they are. They're from something else too, but stuff you normally get the Madrinas, yeah, that. I saw that. I can't drink like those things anymore. I used to drink it, but since like health got in the way, like I can only have like 1 coffee a day or something. So I'm not gonna buy these things for limited edition stuff when I can't even drink it, right? Kind of sucks. And I don't think people would really care that much about the drink rather than the plushie, right? It's kind of like, Pink Margie and Chapel Pillows are both from... Oh, yeah, the other ones too. I forgot about those. I don't buy them either, so I decided to trade for it. I wonder if I'd have anything to trade for then. I think I do. I think if I got the schmalls, then they would be, but I don't want to trade them. I do think that the pink dragon would be kind of cute, though. It is kind of pretty. But, I don't know. I'm happy I got this guy. He's so cute. He looks like he has no brain. I love it. He's like a golden retriever. Just like... smooth brain. I love that. Trolls and Ogre can both get traded for them at the moment if you find the right person. I think you can... I'm in like a few groups. I feel like that's one of the places that you're probably best going to as well. And just being like, does anyone have this? I'll give you this. And they're like, I haven't been able to find them. Sure. Crazy. But there are people that probably just don't care too much about it. Even though they literally bought it. Like, you're like, you just bought something for that and you just gave it away. Crazy. Crazy. I don't even know what to do now, though. I feel lost. I feel lost. I just got everything I needed today already. Like, I'm I'm lost. We have both the piles found, so we can't get any more artifacts unless we trade for them. Which I'm just not gonna do. It's fine. We'll leave that for another day because I'll get obsessed with finishing them before I end stream, and I don't want to do that. Maybe we do that on Friday. A friend of mine was pissed she couldn't get one because they didn't drink coffee as it makes them ill. See, that's the same thing. I technically probably shouldn't drink coffee, but my doctor did say it was okay to maybe just have one. But with the dehydration of it, like I have to drink like 3 or 4 liters of water a day, and coffee is obviously not good for that because like I'd say heart problems, but it's not quite heart problems. It gives you problems with the heart, but it's like it's the nervous system. And coffee apparently doesn't like your nervous system, so it makes it think you're dying. But I seem to be okay with it. But drinking that amount, because they're like known to be like higher, aren't they? I think. Well, how much is in them? Madrina. Madrina. I wonder how much is in like one of them. Like this one, the pink one. Yeah, I can't drink that. A typical coffee is like 65 mg, I think. It says 192 mg. I think it would give me a heart attack. I used to drink these things. Yeah. Makes her really sick to the point she froze up, and because she's unlucky, she couldn't afford to buy all the drinks just to throw away. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm on low income, so like, it's pointless. It's pointless buying like something just for something else. Like, it's one thing. It's a digital thing. Like DJ said, like, if you could trade for them, it's worth it. Plus, I don't have to trade to smalls or anything because we do have other stuff coming out soon. So maybe I might find that. Might find the right person. But that is insane. I feel like that would make most people throw up. But with my pots, yeah, it wouldn't be good. Wouldn't be good. I've had like a coffee and then had like a very, very like low caffeine drink after it, but they did have caffeine in it and I was okay. The last time I had 2 coffees was probably like 2 years ago. I don't remember it because I used to drink Rogue Energy and I used to promote that and be like, hey guys, this drink's great, and it tastes great. And then the situation happened in my health and I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea to drink this anymore. I don't think it said they did that. Fine, give a flush away for free, but at least one that's in-game. Exactly. Like, it's like, at least make it a way to be able to get it in-game, but make it hard to find. That might work, but honestly, you should make it as difficult as these ogre poos and you're sorted. We should go and buy. Let's put these in my bag. I don't need these. I'll probably just sell them, to be honest, but I'll keep them. I'll keep them for now. But yeah, I don't need to really do anything. I feel like I can maybe just go and do like... Maybe we go and find some pallium. I feel like that might be something to wind down with. Because I know when stream ends, I'm going to go from like high energy to just like nothing. Because I'm going to be able to chill and like... With it raining on and off, it's going to make me like really wind down. So I think if we go do a little bit of mining, that could work. But yeah, I mean, I got a plush. I think I'm happy with that. I don't really think... Oh, this is not the way I wanted to come. I think like... I thought that was never going to happen. I might already have one, but that's the only one. That's the only one that I think I've gotten lucky with is the... Oh, what are they even called? I forgot what they're called again. Oh, we need to buy these. Let's see, can I buy 2 or just 1? 2. Okay, there we go. So now we have those. I think we'll be able to make these, but we can't buy them yet because I don't have any books for them. And there's 4 of them, so we're gonna have 2, 4, 6, 8. And that one. How many am I gonna get then? That gives you 1, but totally gives you 3, so that's 4. That gives 3, but I don't know. Wait, do I even have... Did I not? I got 2, but I don't think I got the ones. No. I got the ones I don't need. But look at that on Friday, though. I think that's what I'll do on Friday, to be honest. Think of how they sold the PALIA game idea that it was going to be totally fair and equal. No one will get the things that was caught. Then they gave away codes so people could buy it from a site that gives a push you can get in game. I think this all happened, though, when the game got, like... When that other company, like, I don't know what they're called. When that happened with the other company, like, buying them and stuff, it changed with that, in my opinion. That's when it started to become quite evident that things were going to change a little bit. That kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I almost want to buy them just so I can get the code. But I can't even have the drink. So it's kind of like, I don't know, like, it sounds a little bit silly to do that, so I just won't do it. Like, I'm almost refusing to do it, but... It's such a cute plushie, and I feel like so many people want it that can't get it. And it costs a fortune, too. Like, I used to buy, like, other ones, but I just feel like they were so expensive. Yeah, many little pushes do have a lot of problems, and even people that can duplicate objects. I've seen the duplicating thing. I've seen problems with that on, like, Etsy and stuff, where people are, like, doing it for free. Like, you don't even buy it. You just, like... You, like, message them before you do anything, and then they do it for free, and, like, they give you, like... reactions on house tours and stuff, and I'm like, how is that a thing? Surely, like, all of that is, like, against TOS. And, like, you'd get banned for it, right? Not like the frog thing. Like, that was completely different, but it's like people are getting things in-game from glitching it that's, like, not accessible to everyone. Like, what? Why would you want to risk that? Plus, it takes the fun out of the game. Like, I think it's more fun to find them than it is to just be like, hey, I got a code, let me type it in. Or let me glitch it. Right? Like, I think that is so much more fun. I used to do things like that with WoW. I bought mounts from an online shop until I sit back and thought how much I was spending on pixels. Yeah. I'm very picky with it now. I feel like I don't really do anything else. This is, like, pretty much all I spend money on. If I have money, it's going on a game. Like, that is just my life. And that's just something I like, right? It's like either a cozy hobby or a game. Like, that's what it goes to. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but there's a limit. There is a limit. I didn't have that limit with Fortnite. And now when it comes to stuff like PALIA, I'm very, like... I could have easily bought so much more in PALIA than I have. And I'm really happy that I've gained some sort of self-control, because it's kind of insane. The amount that you can get in this game is kind of insane. It's very tempting. I actually don't think devs care. I don't know. It kind of feels a little odd that way. Because it is something that kind of wrecks it in a sense. But I think they care more when it's when it breaks other people's stuff. Like, I don't know. It just sucks though. Like, I forgot actually to put my house on the tour again. I keep forgetting to do that. But like, the shop in PALIA right now. Like, obviously I have got some things. I've got more than most people, to be honest. Like, this is all the outfits I bought. And that's more than I probably should have gotten. But I haven't even bought a landscape yet. And I'm so close to buying one, and I just don't want to do it. Like, I can pretty much buy this one. I could have bought this the other day. I just didn't. Because it's so cute, but I'm like, do I need it? I think I have a few more than you. Do you know what I'm doing now, though? I'm waiting for them to go on sale, because I didn't even think about it. And then I bought these ones. Which one is it? I bought this one because it was on sale. And then I bought the other one. Wait, where's the other one? It's not even showing my other one. I bought the one with, like, the jumper. Wherever that is. That's, like, really cute, and I like it a lot. I bought that one as well because it was on It was on sale too. So if they're on offer now, like I'll buy them if I really want them and I've waited a while. But otherwise, I'm like, no. The pack was worth buying. Don't even get me wrong. The pack was definitely worth buying, but some of the like offers are actually insane. It's just more annoying when the one you really want is not on sale and the one you really don't care about is. It's like I have one of these as well. I also have one of those. It's like kind of insane. I just, I don't know. I could have bought so many of them. I really could have. And I'm just like, no. Like, I have a pet. I don't need another one. I don't need another one. And I only got this one because it was in the bundle. You know? Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. That's what I do. I want new outfit, but I'm gonna wait. Yeah. I just don't feel like I should buy one when it's not on sale now, because the chances of it going on sale are quite high. And I feel like they can be so much cheaper. Like 80% off? 80% off. If I don't wait to see if it's on sale, that is just ridiculous. Like, it's a bit annoying though, like... sometimes it's like... What? You know, you have like... The one you want is only 20% off. And the one you don't care about is like 80% off. That's a little irritating. It's almost like they're just like staring at you in the face like, yeah, we know you want that, so we're gonna make you want it, but we're not gonna give it you for free. Yeah, when the app is for 70% off. I know, that's what made me realize. It wasn't until you told me that I even remotely thought about it. Like, I hadn't thought about it enough until that moment. So now I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna control myself. I control myself. I'll be fine. I don't need it. Not yet, anyway. Oh, I just realized. No. Okay. I was like, maybe if I pick that, it'll spawn the bug. But it's not there. But yeah, I'm against buying things like landscapes. Like, why am I buying a landscape? Just imitate it. Imitate it. It's fine. But if they do make an Elderwoods themed one, I might have to get that one. I did say if they did it already that I was gonna do it, but they haven't actually implemented a new one. So if they don't do a new one, I don't know what their focus is. Because I feel like with the new update, there's gonna be like a farm landscape or something. There has to be. I just feel like them not doing an Elderwoods one shows me that they're probably not gonna do an Elderwoods one. Like, ever. I feel like the time for them to do that would have been around the update. They didn't do it. So I don't know what their plans are anymore. I can't read them now. I am curious though. Like, I think... We're obviously getting chickens. We're obviously getting chickens. I didn't even think about something. I just realized... Elderwoods isn't done right yet. It's not done yet. There's like a part 2 at least, if not more, coming out in the next update, I think. But guys, I just thought of something. You know when they bring the raising animals into the game? What if, when your chicken drops an egg, it has a chance of dropping a plushie too? Or when you like get the milk from your cow, it drops a plushie, right? I didn't think of that. And now I'm kind of driving myself insane thinking about that. Like, we might be able to... Oh my god. You can have a little chicken. A little chicken? That would be so cool. How did I not think of that till now? How did I not think of that? That's going to be so good if that actually happens. I feel like they have to do that. Like, they have to. There's no way... That would be like the coolest little thing. Like, I also feel like though, with them putting these animals in the game, it's gonna make us go back home again. I almost feel like if they put this in the game originally, I wouldn't have been... I just read what you said, Tony. I feel like if they put this in the game when Elderwoods came out, I wouldn't have been too obsessed. I would have been even at home and Elderwoods. Poor chicken. Fancy pushing a plushie out. I mean, maybe it can hatch out the egg, right? Maybe it grows. Maybe it grows. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm actually really excited now. I feel like the excitement of Elderwood has died down quite a little bit. But then with this next update, it's going to be all fun again, right? Like, I'm not bored. I just, like, I feel like the excitement was insane, and now I'm kind of like, I'm stable. I feel like next week, maybe we can go back to Bahari or something, right? Maybe. I feel like I have to get the relics done. Get the relics done, and I feel like I can maybe, like, leave now and again. I feel like I could do that. Be mature and leave once in a while. But now I am, like, super excited about the farm stuff. Like, we're gonna have a little ranch. Are you kidding me right now? Oh, man. It's gonna be so cute. Poor thing will be walking wonky for weeks after. Oh my god, Tornation. I don't know how they're gonna do this. Is it gonna be like... It would be like you trying to give birth to... Oh my god. Stop. Stop. It's just a game. It's just a game. I want to know. Are these chickens gonna be annoying like the Ugapoos? Right? Are they gonna be like annoying me when I'm at home? Am I gonna have to make a whole other plot just for them? Is that gonna be how they are? Like they're gonna be like oh, imagine it like Donald Duck in no, Daffy Duck. Daffy Duck? Donald Duck? I don't know my characters. In Dreamlight Valley, he throws tantrums all of the time. No! They're not gonna let us do that. They're not. That would be insane. Like, raise it just to hunt it? That's awful. That's awful. There's just no way they're gonna do that. No way. But, like, we don't have anything like that really in the game. So I don't really know how... Because, like, people were saying with the, is it Ormu? The cow? They were saying, like, how... we don't have to, like, any way of hunting them. So I'm kind of a little bit, like... I've always been like, oh, what do we do then? Why are they in the game? Why are they a thing if they're not anything we can do anything with? I think they're going to be the cow we can raise. I genuinely think they're going to be the cow we can raise. But we'll have to see. Did they say when they're going to do the dev vlog as well? I don't remember when it said. It's got to be soon. It should be like next week, right? We should find out like next week what we're getting and when. Because it's going to be a whole roadmap. So we'll find everything out like next week. It definitely said June, but it didn't say a date from what I can remember. I just got a ruby. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? We're getting everything. We're getting everything. Oh my god. Oh my god. We're getting everything. Oh, and we're getting stuck as well. Today was a lucky day. Like, we didn't get anything at all, and now we got everything. I just hope. Maybe I need to get on, like, for an hour at some point between now and Friday, just to have, like, a very bad hour of gameplay, so that the game on Friday is nice to me. I feel like that would probably help. Rather than, like, having to go day and not playing for a couple of days, and then the game being terrible. That'd be my fault. I feel like that's how the whole RNG thing works. I don't think it's really RNG. I think it's a little bit like, oh, you had a good day yesterday? Well, you're gonna have a bad one now. Like, what? In what world? Is it like... Okay, the sun's trying to peep through. Can the sun, like, hide Like, it's not been out all day. If I end stream and it gets sunny, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed. I don't want it to be sunny today. I want it to be, like, gloomy and atmospheric. What are these frogs doing? What are these frogs doing? Do they still sell for, like... They do! That's insane. Where did they all go? What? They all just, like, spawned and then disappeared. That's crazy, though. They still spawn. But the glitch doesn't work anymore. There's, like, a bunch of them all next to each other all the time. Everywhere, every time there's been a glitch somewhere, now that they've taken it out, it seems to be like, if you go back, they're just all huddled there. I feel like the easiest way for them to have probably just taken it out of the game would have been actually to just say you can't place a you can't place a lure there. That probably would have worked better than what they probably did. Ooh. Pallium, not pallium, platinum. Four. Nice. Nice. Also, something I actually probably need to do is make the Elderwood's furniture. I just realized we haven't even done that yet. Maybe we'll go back in a minute. We'll see. See what I have. Because I don't think I've done it yet. I think I did some. But I don't think I did loads of it. I think I did like one or two. And we left the rest. I'll have to go see. Because if not, I should probably make them. Should probably make them. I think I found some of them in Zeki's Underground though. So I don't think I need to make those. But I don't know if it like unlocks. If it unlocks stuff? Let's see. Can I go back yet? In a minute. Okay, we can go back in a minute. It's like I need to decorate at some point. I'm definitely in a decorating mood. I started a new build on Sims. I'm definitely in the mood for it. Not today, but like, you know. In general, like I'm in a decorating mood. Doing the weekly where you get the gold or silver is a pain in the ass. Not really. Is it that bad? It was already hard enough for me to do. I'm not gonna lie, it was already hard enough for me to do. Like I already had a problem with it because gold for me was insane. Silver was bad, but gold was insane. There was just no chance of me finding it. Like whatsoever. I had no chance. So it always bugged me. That's why I always leave them. I never really do weeklies, but I started doing them a little bit back. And then I stopped again. I stopped again because they're just so annoying. And it's not even the team up ones. I just don't really care about some of them, but it's like that one. Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing? Because if it's still... You get more gold silver from mining the nose, but you use to get silver and be done with in a couple of hours. I would just go crazy and try and find it, but it still wouldn't work. But does Pallium work too? I feel like you do a sweep of the Elderwood and a sweep of Bahari. Is it Bahari or did they change it? Oh, it's so complicated now. It's actually really complicated now if you think about it. Like, the way they change stuff is just like... It's made my mind go a little bit confused. Like, I don't know where to go for what. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I can't make any of them. Oh, I can. It just doesn't say I can. Wait, what? It says I can make them, but it doesn't tell me I can make them. That's weird. That is really weird. Oh, that's cute. It's like love hearts. I definitely need to make these. I can find the ingredients for them quite easily too. I didn't even realize that. I realized they were that easy to make. I honestly thought they were a lot harder than that. I guess it would, but I haven't checked. Interesting. Interesting. I feel like it probably would. It's just rare. I think they did say they updated it so the Elderwood stuff would also work. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Thinking. Let me see something. Let me mute this. Mute this. Everyone's co-streaming. Everyone's co-streaming. So cute. I don't really know who to. Let me go and see if anyone's like on the I don't follow. I might just send you guys to Teddy or something because I really feel like I need to go eat. I feel like my blood sugar might be dropping, so I might have to end a little bit earlier. Let's start thinking that it's finally started. It's not raining here right now. Send the rain my way. I want the rain right now. I want the rain. Asteria Blue. I think I've heard of them before. Let me copy that. I want someone that I can go in and kind of be like, hi, I gotta go. Screw me. Here's another I sub too. Ooh, hang on. I have ads. I have ads. Let me see. Shy book nerd. She's a writer. Wait. Okay, actually this, yeah. Yeah, let's do this. Let me mute this, hang on. Let me mute it real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna send you guys up there then. I need to mute. Please. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna send you guys up there because I feel like I need to go eat or something. I feel like I just got like this sort of feeling of like heat throughout my body and like I don't know if it's food. I don't know what it is. But I will end just a little bit earlier than normal. But I will put Discord in the chat for anyone that wants to join because I do update mostly on there if I'm not going to stream. I will not be live tomorrow as usual because I am going somewhere instead. But I will be live on Friday. So I'll see you guys then. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Please go show some love. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you.